So these two women have been all up in my comments saying that any woman who wants to get sterilized needs therapy. Look at all this. They're insistent on therapy and getting trauma treated. But oddly, when I posted the video featuring a letter of support from my therapist for my sterilization, all of a sudden, that's not good enough. Apparently Ferrari here thinks that all therapists are just like lapsed MDs who haven't taken a class since they got their master's. Ferrari. Like 90% of therapists were never MDs. That's generally not expected of a therapist. A degree in psychotherapy and getting your doctorate as someone who practices psychotherapy has been around for a long time. But this is not the first time that I've had this kind of exchange. I've talked to people who are like, you should have gotten therapy before you got sterilized. And when I tell them that not only have I been in therapy since I was 22, but my therapist actually supported the sterilization, they say, well, then you should have seen a different therapist. So just so you know, going to see a therapist just to have someone agree with everything that you say is not how good therapy works. I hear plenty of things I don't like in therapy. My therapist has helped me come to conclusions that I didn't like, but were ultimately the best choice for me. Anyway, Ferrari said, despite spending all of yesterday and today telling me to go see a therapist to help with my sterilization problem, now says that therapists don't count to help you make a decision about sterilization because they don't specialize in fertility. Well, first, some therapists do partly focus on the mental health surrounding fertility and infertility. In fact, I actually think it's on my therapist profile as something that she does do. So I'm ticking all these boxes that you want me to tick. But since what I'm doing turns out to not support your argument, you keep moving the goalposts. Suddenly, I should be seeing a fertility specialist. But if you're so worried about the mental health of people getting sterilized, fertility specialists do not do mental health. So that wouldn't even be the kind of treatment you want me to get. And the same goes for doctors who will sterilize people. You commented that you don't know how I convinced doctors to take my side, but sterilization is not normal. At least in the US, OBGYNs who perform your sterilization are required by law to counsel you before you sign the papers. Now, that counseling is nowhere near psychotherapy. It's mostly just to make sure that you know what the procedure entails and you know that it is permanent. But either way, I've gotten that kind of counseling too. I'm pretty sure OBGYNs who perform sterilizations also deliver babies, so it's not like they're anti-baby. They're just pro-patient. And the same goes for therapists. I've never heard of a therapist who tried to sway all of their clients against having kids, and if that therapist does exist, they probably should not be practicing anymore. I asked Ferrari whether when she's done having kids, she will stop having sex, because she constantly told me that that's what I need to do if I don't want kids. But she said that in her case, no. And if she conceived by accident, she might choose to keep it, but she's totally open to abortion. So rather than getting sterilized, or as she puts it, controlling yourself, and using abstinence, she's totally fine getting abortion after abortion if she doesn't want the baby at that time. Because nothing's more convenient or cheaper than just getting constant abortions. Ferrari kept saying that being child-free and wanting to be sterilized is not normal. But as soon as I asked her if she does other abnormal things, like drive a car, very unsafe, she switched to normal is subjective. Except in the case of child-free people who want to be sterilized, we're all abnormal. And finally, Ferrari said that child-free people should really weigh the pros and cons of getting sterilized. Because as you know, it's so easy to get the procedure. She said that even doctors would advise abstinence over sterilization. Well, let me tell you, I spoke to at least 5 medical professionals about getting sterilized. 3 of them were even real doctors. And even the doctors who refused to sterilize me did not suggest that I stop having sex. Because they know that's a pretty unrealistic ask. And so do you, because you said if you got pregnant accidentally, you'd have no problem with aborting it. So like the Ferraris of your name, pick a lane.